There you go, Gordon. So we're here with Sean from Zephyr Wargames, and he's bringing us his Superheavy Samurai deck profile.
Been so long in the making. Right, so first of all, we have 3 big Superheavy Samurai Big Benkei. He is the main boss monster of the deck. He is the heart and the soul. He's what gets all your other Superheavy Samurais to attack and defense. You want him on the field, as soon as you possibly can. He's 3,500 defense. He's quite a big monster, as most of the Superheavy Samurais are. He has there's 2 things he can do. When he's normal or special summoned, you change his battle position, and his secondary effect is a continuous effect which allows all Superheavy Samurais to attack in defense, which is like the deck's main gimmick. So that's that. Next we have 3 Superheavy Samurai Flutist. More often than not, you want to draw these 2 together, because what you could do is you just normal summon him, use his effect, special summon 1 Superheavy Samurai from your hand, usually Big Benkei, and then just go from there. Nice and simple play. What's lovely about him is that when he's also in the graveyard, you can banish him to negate any effect that would target a Superheavy Samurai monster. So, for example, you've got him on the field and your opponent activates Compulsory Evacuation Device or some of the targets. You banish him, negate and destroy the card. Nice and simple. Bit of protection as well, because you don't want to be out in the open with no defense. Next we have 3 Superheavy Samurai Scales. This is probably what gets all your combo, one of the cards that gets all your combos started. So first of all, he has a bit of text in him that allows you can special summon him like a Cyber Dragon if you wanted to. So your opponent must have 2 or more monsters on their side of the field, and you must control 0 monsters. So you can special summon him from the field, and then on summon, when he's normal or special summoned, you can use his effect to target 1 level 4 or lower Superheavy Samurai monster in your graveyard and special summon it from the graveyard. Flutist, for example, would be one you could do that with. And obviously he's a level 4, so that helps to go into rank 4 plays if you have the next card in your graveyard in preparation for his effect. We have 3 Superheavy Samurai Soul Piercer. He is this, you could say, Stratos of the deck. He is your 1 searcher. If anything, I'd say this deck might need more searching, because you don't want to rely on just 1 card to do a really important job like that. So what he does is, when he's sent to the graveyard, you can search your deck for any Superheavy Samurai monster you want. So he can search pretty much the whole entire deck, which is actually pretty handy. Secondarily though, you can attach him to a Superheavy Samurai monster, and when that monster inflicts battle damage, it will inflict piercing damage as well. So that's rather handy. And he's a level 4, so if you want to go into some rank 4 plays, he's handy. Next, I run 3 Superheavy Samurai Thief. Similar to Scales, you can just special him on to the field. It doesn't matter how many monsters are on the field, which is rather nice. He has 2 effects, both of which require you to tribute him as a cost. First of all, you can steal your opponent's Pendulum Scale and then place it on your own side of the field. With all the Pendulum decks, like Dynamist, Draco Slayer Pendulums, and all those kind of decks, that really hinders their strategy, slows them down a bit. Or, secondly, you can tribute him again, then steal an opponent's face down. Actually, it doesn't have to be face down. You can steal a spell or a trap card and then set it to your side of the field, in your back row. So that's rather handy. And if you do run any rank 10s in your extra deck, here's a rank 10, so you just special summon him and overlay with Susanoo into a rank 10. Or 2 of himself. But, however, you can't do that at the same time you special summon him, because he has a limitation where if you do special summon him, you can't special summon monsters except for Superheavy Samurais for the rest of that turn. Next, I'm going to show you some of my hand traps, because it's nice to have hand traps, this format. First of all, I run 2 Effect Veiler, rather handy for when an opponent has a monster on the field and they have a nasty effect that you want to stop if they're trying to clear your board with, say, a monster like Dark Destroyer. If it were able to be targeted, unfortunately it can't, so Veiler doesn't quite work that much on Cosmos, unfortunately. Next we have 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This one, similar to Veiler, is in response to a monster or spell or trap or card effect. As long as the spell or trap is already face up in the field, you would discard it to the graveyard, and once the said spell or trap or monster is finished resolving, they're destroyed. So it helps to just get them out of the way so they're not becoming a bit of a pest. And lastly we have Maxi. I run 2. This isn't my one, I'm just borrowing it. I run 2 copies, as I said. Really handy because in this day and age, a lot of decks like to special summon. Obviously the Monarchs don't, not so much. You would side these out if they're in your main deck. If your opponent would special summon a monster, you can just draw a card every time they would do so. It helps you to catch up and get some advantage if you need it, if you feel like you're falling behind a bit. Next, the rest of my 2 cards I have just played 2 of are Superheavy Samurai Battle Ball. He is a level 2 tuner, first and foremost. His effect is just glorious. So, what he can do is you target a monster your opponent controls and himself, then you would special summon a monster from your extra deck, like so, whose level is equivalent to his own level and the level of the monster you targeted. So, for example, this only works, you can only special summon Superheavy Samurai monsters from that effect, of course, otherwise it would be so much more broken. So, for example, your opponent has a level 7 monster on the field, say. You normal summon Battle Ball, you target their monster, then you special summon Beast QB from the extra deck, for example. So that's a really handy effect. You can just clear opponent's monsters and then progress your game state from there. Next, for a bit of safety and defense, I like to run 2 Superheavy Samurai Blowtorch. What he does is he's pretty much just a wall, set him face down. Your opponent will more than likely attack into him, and then you just leave him there. He cannot be destroyed by battle, which is why you do that. He has 2 other effects also, however. Firstly, if your opponent were to attack a Superheavy Samurai monster and you have him in your hand, you can discard him like a hand trap and then change the target for the attack to whatever you want your opponent to attack. So, say I've got this in defense and I don't want them to attack my big Benkei. So I would discard him from the hand and say attack my Battle Ball instead. Secondly, he does pretty much a similar thing, but while he's already on the field. So your opponent attacks a monster you want to keep safe. You change the attack target to him, and he can't be destroyed by battle. So they've just, in theory, just wasted an attack. So he's really, really good for stalling or just defending any monsters you want to keep alive. Okay. Next, we have Superheavy Samurai Giga Gloves. I love this card. He helps you to get to the cards for your combos and the cards you want so much more quicker. When he's sent to the graveyard from anywhere, be it the deck, the hand, or the field, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then you can rearrange them in any order you see fit, which is really nice. The loveliest thing about that, though, is it stacks up for his second effect really nicely. When your opponent when they declare a direct attack, you can banish him from the graveyard. You excavate the top card of the deck. If it's a Superheavy Samurai monster, the monster that declared that direct attack is reduced to 0. So it makes all your opponent's monsters a piece of worthless nothing, which sets up nicely for your next turn, if you've got like your combo pieces all in your hand, you're ready to just go for game, you can push for the OTK or whatever you want to do in the next turn. Next, I run 2 Superheavy Samurai Magnets. He's rather similar to Scales, which was the third card I showed you. However, he only activates on the summon if he's normal summoned, so you can't special summon him and get his effect off. You would normal summon him, and then you would special summon 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand. You can special summon another copy of him as well, so you can just go straight into some rank 4 plays, which is nice. What I like to do usually is, if I've got a level 2 tuner in my graveyard, I would go Magnet, Scales, special summon a level 2 synchro tuner, from the graveyard. Then from there you have an instant rank 10 synchro into Susanoo, which is the main monster you want to get. So, and then when you do perform that special summon from the hand, he switches to defense, and your opponent can't attack any monster apart from him. So he's nice. He also lets you stall as well. Okay. Next we have Super Heavy Samurai Prepped Defense. He is, for all intents and purposes, he is the gauze of your deck. Your opponent will attack you directly, or they'll attack a monster you control. You take battle damage, special summon him from the hand. When you do special summon him from the hand, he cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects for the rest of that turn. So he's really nice to just put an end to your opponent's push if they're going to OTK you or something. So he lets you go on to your next turn. He helps you live, basically. Next, some more hand traps. We have 2 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Fire Suit. When your opponent is going to destroy a monster, say like a Raigeki or a Dark Hole, you can just discard him from the hand, target 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster. That monster you targeted for the rest of the turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. However, it loses 800 defense for the rest of the turn, which is, in all honesty, it literally makes no difference because it's not being destroyed by battle, so they're not going to destroy it by battle. Obviously, if they have a piercing monster on the field, that does suck, I guess. Secondly, you can attach him to a Super Heavy Samurai monster you control as an equipped spell card. He doesn't count as a spell, well, he kind of does and he doesn't. But anyway, that monster you equip him to then becomes a level 5, so it helps you go into your synchro ways. If you have any just awkward levels on the field, you can just say, I'm going to put him to a monster to level 5, and then you can summon level 2 tuner and make level 7 synchros if you want. More often than not, you're going to go into your super heavy monsters. Second, we have 2 copies of Super Heavy Samurai Swordsman. He is a really nice card to just, I'd say he's more of a in the meantime kind of card. So you can normal summon him like Beg Benkei, and he would switch to defense mode, which is where you want him. When a opponent's monster declares an attack on any Super Heavy Samurai monster, doesn't matter who, after the damage calculation, the monster that attacked is reduced to 0. It's attack and defense. So that's, like I said, with Glove, it does a similar thing. It will set up your next monster. You can inflict lots of damage because Super Heavy Samurais, they can put a lot of damage on board very quickly, and they inflict a lot of damage. So they can make a game real quickly. Next is another one of my tuners. I have 2 Super Heavy Samurai Trumpet. He's probably the best tuner in the deck, since you can just special summon him from your hand like a Cyber Dragon, regardless of who has what monsters, and then you just go into your synchro plays from there. An extra nice thing about him is, if you were to summon a Big Benkei, since you tribute summoned him, you can special summon him back from the grave. Because when he is tributed for the tribute summon of a super heavy monster, you can special him back from the grave, which is really nice because it's basically an instant level 10 synchro. So that gets you right into your power plays that you want to make right away, which is nice. Lastly is my one-offs. I just ran 1 Mathematician. He just sends cards from the deck to the graveyard. Usually you want to send your yugiohs. So that allows you to stack your deck and then let you get into the cards you want. Or you can send Superheavy Samurai Flutist, so you can protect your monsters from targeting, which is nice. And then lastly we have Superheavy Samurai Gauntlet and Soul Horns. Superheavy Samurai Soulbuster Gauntlet, he's basically the honest of the deck, or limiter removal if you want, but doesn't destroy the end phase. So in the damage step, you'll discard him and double the original defense of the monster you're attacking with, or is being attacked. You can use this on any player's turn. So if you want to wall up, if you've got a monster with not so great at defense but you want it on the field, you discard him, double its defense. Or if you're trying to make an offensive push, you attack with Benkei, for example, and then you double it up to 7,000 for the rest of the turn, which is really nice. Lastly, for the main deck, we have Superheavy Samurai Soul Horns. He's really simple. He just lets you attack twice. So you just attach it to a Superheavy Samurai, they attack twice. Nothing more, nothing less. Right, now for the extra deck. I run Armades, nice for any monsters. Armades, it's really nice for cards like Burning Abyss or anything that, activates in the graveyard. Samsara, Dragon of Rebirth, it's really nice to just get anything back from your graveyard. If you've had any cards destroyed like Benkei, Susanoo, you just summon him out and then get him back so you can get back into the game. He's really nice if you're behind. Next, Stardust Spark Dragon, because this deck likes to have a solid line of defense. You can protect your monsters from be it battle or destruction. So he's really nice. And level 8 isn't too hard to go to in this deck. Next, we have the Superheavy Samurai extra deck monsters. These are the fun cards. So first we have one Beast Kyuubi. He is obviously going to be special summoned in defense mode. He gains 900 defense for every special summoned monster your opponent controls. So you summon him out, your opponent has 3 special summoned monsters. He gains a total of 27 defense, boosting him up to 52 defense, which is really big. So he's a really big beat stick, and I like that. This deck uses a lot of beat sticks. Next we have 3 copies of Superheavy Samurai Ogre Shooting Dogi. What can I say about this card? When you special summon him, he is a Harpy's Feather Duster. Not a lot of cards nowadays in this game can do that, so he's a really nice effect. He lets you push for game if you've got enough monsters. So you special summon him, and then you just attack directly with all your monsters. So usually you're probably going to get game if you summon this soon after you summon him. He's a level 6, so all you need is a 4 and a 2. Okay, now the biggest of the beat sticks, the level 10 Super Heavy Synchro, Superheavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo. He is what you want to go for all of the time because he can do so many things for your deck. Obviously, he attacks in defense like all the other Super Heavy Samurais. However, as a quick effect, you can take an opponent's spell or trap from their graveyard and set it on your side of the field. Obviously, if you take a trap or a quick play, you can't use it that turn due to game mechanics. So that, obviously, it's not a perfect effect, but nowadays with your opponent having loads of one-offs like Regeki, Bottomless Trap Hole, and those kind of cards, it's really nice to get some cards from their graveyard. Some really powerful cards. Next, since this is a synchro deck, you obviously play Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Summon him, banish 1 card from the opponent's field, grave and hand. He's really just for getting rid of the card opponent's advantage, and just getting yourself ahead. Next, I have 2 rank 4s, Castell from spot removal and Cowboy for game. Pew pew. Nothing more to be said about that really, it's really, really simple. And that's it. Strength of the deck, I'd say it puts a lot of damage on board really, really quickly. You can push the game in a very, very, very short amount of time. weaknesses, the deck is very slow, and a lot of the times you won't have the cards you want in your hand or on the field. So getting all your combo pieces can be a bit of an inconvenience. But yeah, I think that's about it for the deck. It's a really fun deck. It has a lot of sentiment for me. It's the first deck that I built to myself, so it means a lot to me. So I like playing it. Never going to get rid of this deck. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.